everybody. Today we are going to be talking about Venus and Capricorn. So for my Venus videos, I'm going to break them up into sections. So first we're going to talk about like their love style and like relationship. They desire hard work in itself, and they desire a hard worker. They want someone who is very successful and very established in their field. So when they're trying to pick a mate, think about like if you're trying to choose a cell phone company. Are you going to go with Sprint, who's been around since forever and has all these reviews, and you know about Sprint, you see commercials, like you know what Sprint is and you can research the depth of that company? Or are you going to go with some stupid little startup company that's, you know, only sold in Walmart and you don't know much about them? Like, they're always going to go for what has a solid foundation and what's proven to have working over time, especially when it comes to a person. Think of their relationship style as like, do you want a solid foundation of a house, or do you want to be in a tent? It's kind of like that. This often leads to older, younger scenarios because a lot of people in their 20s, they don't have it together, and if they do have it together, they don't have the time necessary to start building up a solid foundation for something, you know, to really take off in the long run. So they do often go for older people, not only because Capricorn is the sign of time, so they might actually be attracted to older people, but they might be attracted to the success or the power or the things that they've accomplished, which often lends itself more to people who are older. They want something that is tried and tested, so they want to know that it'll stand the test of time. These are not like people who will flip from relationship to relationship. They don't go for intensity or spontaneity or fun. They really go for something that they feel like is going to last, something that they feel like is durable, something that they feel like is going to work out. When I think of Venus and Capricorn, I have termed it something called the 3 E's, which is experience, establishment, and extensive traction in whatever area of your choosing. They want you, whatever you do, whether you be doctor, car salesman, whatever, they want you to be well established and have like a deep niche or a deep groove in whatever field that you're in. They want you to have a lot of experience, to know a lot, to have done a lot in that field. And they want extensive traction. They want to see like, what is your record? What have you done? How is that held up over time? What types of trials have you or your company or whatever you're working on? What type of trials have you guys come across, and how have you gotten out of that? How have you gotten over that? What do you have planned for the future for a rainy day? Let's just say, you know, your car company goes out of business, or you know, you want to move, but you're a doctor with only a certain specialty. How are you going to navigate the difficulties of life and still be successful in your field? They really want to make sure that you have like a 100% foolproof plan for how you're going to keep your success and grow more success in the future, so that they'll feel like they can really put their trust in you. Now, I said that Venus and Capricorn desires hard work in itself. They like to work hard. I would equate Venus and Capricorn to like building a house, like a brick house, and they're going to be the type of people who are going to make sure that every brick is cut perfectly, and that it is like perfectly an inch, like the space in between each brick vertically and horizontally is exactly the same, and they're going to have the measuring tool to make sure everything's perfect. Because I don't know the history, but think about like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Like, when one thing is just a little bit off, it can just, the whole thing will start to go like awry. They want to make sure that everything is perfect, and they really don't mind putting in that hard work and being extra tedious. This is where they can kind of be like Virgo a little bit. They're both the workaholics. They don't mind putting in the hard work to build that solid foundation, because they know in the end it's going to give them the perfect foundation, the perfect start off to just be so successful. So I have a couple examples. One, The Weeknd. He is a very successful goth R&B singer. He actually got his start on YouTube, putting out videos under the name The Weeknd, and it did really well. But imagine all the time and hard work that he had to practice as far as singing, finding the right beats, writing the song, engineering and recording it probably multiple times. Like, I recorded this multiple times. I cracked my phone recording this video. So you know what I mean? Like, all the hard work that goes into making something. And then he's put it out on YouTube. Capricorn is all about like boom, boom, boom. They want the success to go up and up and up. So he didn't just make these songs and, you know, hand it out in his hometown or hand it out, you know, in the back of his van or whatever. And not coming at people who do that. But he really put his work out there. And then that did well. And then, you know, he signed a record deal. And then he took his old works and some new works and he made an album. And now he's one of the most, he's an A-list celebrity in my opinion. He's one of the most popular singers in the world. He's got a very unique style. He's extremely successful. His music has been in some of the top movies in the past couple years, like on the trailer and the soundtrack. Some of his songs, I know Starboy, that was The Weeknd, has over 1 billion views on YouTube. So it's all about that working up, boom, 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 to get to the next level. And they don't mind that process. Okay, this is my first song. This is my second song. Now I'm working on the album. Now I'm working on the soundtrack for this. They love that building up process. They like the hard work. Another person who I wasn't expecting, I don't know if you guys know Megan Thee Stallion. She is a up-and-coming rapper, but she's getting, you know, pretty famous. And once again, it was that putting out a song, then putting out this and putting out that, then teaming up with this person and going on this award show and going on that award show. Just constantly putting out things that will get you a step in the right direction. Venus and Capricorn is all about little baby steps. But as long as we're going in the right direction, we're going to get there. Venus and Capricorn. Capricorn is all about time. Saturn's about time. And it's about, you know, they say, what's that dumb saying? Slow and steady wins the race, or the tortoise and the hare story. They don't mind how slow they have to go. All they know is that they're going to get there, and they never stop. They always put out every little thing, even if it's stupid, even if it's a YouTube snippet or whatever they can do to promote themselves. They're going in that direction. They're never just stale. They're never just stagnant. And they want their partner to be that way too. What are you working on? What are you doing? What are you doing to progress yourself? Don't just ever become complacent. Don't say, hey, I have a good job and I work here and hey, that's cool. No. What about the future? What about your retirement plan? How are you going to grow your business? How are we going to build together? Because that's what they really want to do. Another example, I talked about this before, my therapist, she has Venus in Capricorn. And she really just amazes me because she took so many classes in college that she felt like only incrementally were related to psychology. For example, she said she took a dental class, and how when you have dental infections, because it's so close to the brain, sometimes it can throw things off a little bit and cause whatever. I'm not going to make things up, but it can cause, you know, some mental health deficiencies by not taking care of your teeth. And she said she felt at the time that she didn't even really think that they were so connected, but just the fact that she has that little bit of knowledge puts her ahead of another therapist who said, dental doesn't really have anything to do with psychology. They don't mind taking extreme classes on every single aspect of something because they want to be perfect at it. That Virgo similarity. They want to excel at it. Virgo wants to be perfect for the sake of being perfect. Capricorn wants to be perfect because they want to go far. Venus and Capricorn loves their work in itself, and they really might fall in love with their job. So this can go a couple of ways. They might date people that they work with. They might fall in love on the job. Or a lot of Venus and Capricorns don't date at all because they're so... Capricorn is similar to Virgo in perfection, but I would say it's similar to Scorpio in intensity. But Scorpio just has intensity as far as like relationships and sex and intimacy. Capricorn has that same intensity, but it's towards work. So they might not really be worried about dating. They might not be worried about picking a partner. But if they are going to pick a partner, you got to be just as hardworking. And your goals, like you have to have your eyes set on, you know, the highest prize and even beyond that. And you have to just instill and kind of motivate some work ethic in them, and then they can do that for you, and it's just a never-ending thing. They're never going to stop climbing this ladder, and even when they do, they're just going to put more prongs on it, and they just want to keep going up and up. And you have to be somebody who wants to go up and up, and you have to be somebody who's not going to get in the way of their going up and up. Otherwise, the relationship itself won't be attractive to them. In love, they're very serious and they're very practical. They're not like a Venus and Sagittarius who's going to be all about the fun, or they're so the opposite of Leo, who's all about like the show and the fanfare. They want something that's going to last. And if they see any red flags, they're not going to want to go near you, because they're like, look, I already see from the gate that something is not right, and I don't really feel like this is going to last. So why would I partake in something? Why would I start a love relationship if it's not going to last? Once again, the building of the house foundation. Why am I going to start building a bunch of houses with a bunch of people that's just going to be half done? Why am I going to start building a bookshelf and then it's supposed to have 3 shelves and we get to the second shelf and then we stop and then I go do that with somebody else? I'm not doing that. If you're a Venus in Capricorn, you're like, you're going to really vet somebody out and make sure that, I think this is going to work. I think even the small amount of red flags I see, I think we can still work and get past that, because that's what they want. They have a dedication and a commitment, I think, that rivals that of Scorpio. Scorpio is very intense, but Capricorn, and that's why they're so committed, but Capricorn is committed because they're like, I want this to work. They want to know how your relationship is going to help them at work and how you can help them at work. Even if you don't ask them at all and you just come home, they're like, oh, how was your day? And you're like, oh, babe, it was cool, but this happened, or my boss said this, or the company's having some problems with that. They'll be like, well, blah blah blah, and I think you should do this, and I think you should do that, and you can be like, in your head you might be like, but I didn't even ask you about any of that. But to them, your work and your work ethic is just such an integral part of the relationship. They don't have it. Well, I don't know what they have because I didn't look it up. But I just get some examples here. Cardi B and Offset. Now, I'm not going to get into the quality of their music because that's a whole different video. But these are 2 people who work in the same field, got together, and because they are together, they are able to produce even more works in that field and further each other. He can make a song and say, well, I need a girl voice on it, or I want another element to it, or a feminine element to it, and he can ask his wife, and she can say, well, I have this song, but I want a masculine element to it, or I want your spin on this, or whatever, and then he can get on her song. And then so not only are they working and very successful in their own rights before they met each other, but now when they get together, they get to still do that on their own and do it together. So it's like this never-ending ball of just a building of success. Another example is Beyonce and Jay-Z. Now they're able to branch out and do a little bit more than just music together. But yeah, once again, she is very successful in her own right. He's very successful. They have a lot of money. They come together. They do business deals. They take part in movies. They take part in, I know Jay-Z does a lot of like legal help for people who may not afford it. And I'm sure on the sideline at home, she has a part in that, or, they talk about that. Their work and what they do and what they contribute to the world is an integral part of their relationship. And the fact that they can help each other and they can each benefit from that makes their relationship seem all the more worthwhile. Because yeah, I could be with anyone, but why not be with someone who also can help me personally and in my own field? A good regular life example would be, say you have like an interior designer and then you have a real estate agent, and they're like, kind of flirting, but they might be flirting with some other people too. It would just make sense to a Venus and Capricorn, like, hey, you can be designing the house for the showing, but I get it ready to show, and then because you've designed it so beautifully, and because I've, spoken the house up so well, now we can sell it. Now we both get this huge, well, one person will get the huge commission, we can split it, however they do it, blah, blah, blah. That's an example of 2 people being like, I could kind of go anywhere for different reasons. Let's say the Venus and Capricorn was in love with a Venus and Aquarius, and they might say, I love your uniqueness, or they're in love with the Venus and Leo. I love how proud you are. I love how boisterous and bold you are. And so they might have all these offers on the table, but the Venus and Capricorn, the other one, or the Venus and Capricorn element will stand out. I can date any of these people, but why not date you who can help me? And therefore we can help each other. And it would just be like an empire, kind of, a building of success. to them, it only makes the most sense. Another reason that they want this to work so bad is Capricorn is related to Saturn, and it's related to the 10th house. Their image, and the image of their relationship especially, is extremely important to them. They don't want to have a failed marriage under their belt or a failed relationship. They don't want to be getting cheated on or any scandals. They don't want any of that. They want a good, successful, traditional, old school, solid foundation marriage slash, partnership, whatever you are in. So yeah, the red flags are not going to be good to them because they know, like, I think this person's a little flirtatious. I wouldn't mind seeing where it goes, but if it comes out that he's been flirting with other people on the job, or he's been seeing this person or that person, or maybe they're mentally or emotionally unstable, and then I have to go to work, or they don't want their image to be taken down by their by their relationship in any way. Their relationship has to elevate their image and their career, and if it's going to detract from it, if it's going to distract them, or if it's going to make them look bad anyway, they want no parts. So this leads to a sort of interview style of them dating you. They immediately are going to want to know your stats. Like, to them, you're like a baseball card, and you've got like your stats under what's your age, where'd you go to school, how much do you make, what is your background, what is your family background, what is your educational background, what are your investments, what are your future goals, underline future goals, because that's the biggest one. They immediately are judging you off of all of that. And other things could play a factor, like looks and how funny you are and blah blah, but the main thing that they're looking at is your baseball card, your resume. Let's call it a resume. They're looking at how you are on paper, and then they're comparing it to who they think they are on paper and what they want. It's a very kind of cold way of dating and picking the partner. I don't know, to me, I'm a Venus in Scorpio, so to me that seems kind of cold, but it works for them. Dating a Venus in Capricorn, I would say, is an ongoing interview, because as their relationship evolves, their questions are going to evolve, and they're never going to stop questioning you on these things. Okay, we got together, I'm an interior designer, you're a real estate agent, and we've been together for 5 years, and then you say, well, I want to open up my own, I don't know anything about real estate, is a bad example, but you want to open up your own, you want to take the next step in your real estate adventure, and then they're going to have a whole new set of questions. Well, how are you going to do that? What type of money? How is this going to affect us? How is this going to affect me? How can I help? How can that help me grow my interior design business? They're never going to stop building your resume and writing it for you and comparing it to their own and comparing it to see if it's something that they really want. And this especially goes for their friends, because Venus can be about friends too. They really want to socialize and associate themselves with people that they feel like are going to get them somewhere. A really good example is, like, if you're a freshman in high school, or it could be college too, and you befriend all the seniors. Not only do you like them because they're doing older stuff, but it would help you, not only because they're your friends, but because they might be able to say, hey, you should take this course, or this is where I messed up and this is where you shouldn't mess up, or this teacher is really attentive and that one is kind of all over the place. So yeah, they're your friends and you have that true friendship bond. I'm not saying these are like cold, calculated, although they can be. I'm not saying these are like cold, calculated people with no heart and they're just like, what can you do for me? They're not like that, but so they will be your friend, but if you can help them, to them it just makes sense. Why wouldn't I be friends with a senior who can tell me what to do and where to go, and the best college guidance counselor and the colleges that they're getting into? That would help me more than me being friends with all these other freshmen who are worried about popping pimples on their face and giving each other wedgies. Like, to them, the choice is obvious. These are people in the workplace who really might befriend the boss or like the HR executive, and this is where it can get a little kiss-assy, because they're like, wow, this person is so prominent and they're in power, and if they're not trying to start a relationship with you, which they probably could be, see, people usually fall in love with their boss. Then they'll try to befriend the higher up people, and like I said, just for the high school example, for the college example, to them it just makes sense. Why am I going to be talking about what Sue did in the employee lunch break room, but I can be good friends with the HR director. And so not only will I have a friend, but if a family member or a friend of mine needs a job, or if I want to know about upcoming promotions, or the company might be doing well, might not be doing well, transferring to them, it just makes sense to align themselves socially in a way that will help them career-wise. People are going to express their affection for their like friends and lovers very conservatively. Think opposite of Leo. So they're not coming up in front of a big crowd of people. They're not going to buy you a blimp. They don't want to make out on the kiss cam at the freaking basketball game. They're not like big and showy like that, but they're going to do very like loyal, steadfast things for you, like remind you to get up for work, set your a lot of work related things, set your clothes out, stuff that they know you need and stuff that they feel like would practically help you is how they're going to do it. Or, you know, if they do try to do something romantic, which I'm sure they can be, appreciate that, because they're not very emotional and they're not very showy. So if they buy you roses, or if they take you out, you know, to a nice restaurant and get dressed up, know that they really try, like that was their best, because that's not so much their nature, and that's not the nature of their Venus anyway. So if they try to do Venusian things and be like soft and sweet, just let them, you know that it will come with a pinch of conservativeness. And if you don't mind that, then that's fine. And if you are a more showy or a more fiery person, let's say you have more fire in your chart, or you have more intensity like some Scorpio, then feel free to try to help bring that out of them. You don't have to just go at their pace. If they're being very conservative, say, hey, you know, my little Venus and Capricorn, be spontaneous. Say, hey, let's go, you know, go see that new show that came to town, or that new performer, or let's try this, or let's dress up like that. It's not that these people are not willing to try to do things with you in a romantic nature. If you suggest a picnic, or, you know, something sensual, or something very romantic that maybe a Venus and Libra might naturally pull off, it doesn't mean that they won't do it. You might just have to work a little bit harder to bring that out of them, but they'll definitely be down for it if they really love you. When it comes to their fashion, they really love work attire. So think blazers, pencil skirts, button downs. I remember I had a math teacher, and he had to be Capricorn, I can't remember, but he was so uptight. He had to do everything by the book all the time. And then we had a dress down day, and then all the teachers came in with like jeans and sneakers because it's a dress down day, and he still came every day. He wore like a blazer, a tie, a button down. He wore like a whole suit every single day, and some pants and some like extreme dress shoes. And then on the dress down day, he still wore the button down and pants tucked into belt. It was so ridiculous to me. And like, these are those type of people. They're always kind of dressed up at all times, or they're dressed ready to go to work. They're not dressed up in like the Leo way. Like Leo's always ready to like go to a dinner party or something. They're always overdressed in that way. Capricorn is dressed up in like I'm ready to go to work, or they could randomly go to a job interview on the fly and pretty much pull it off. Like that's their thing. They love things big shoulders, because Capricorn is about the bones and the skeleton. I've noticed, I don't know, I just get this feeling that Capricorn just loves shoulders, loves big broad shoulders. It's about prominence and success, and you know, it stands out. They love things that are of quality. These are not people that are going to shop anywhere cheap. They don't even spend too much on fashion. Or I should say they probably don't have that many clothes, but the clothes they do have are going to be very high end, because once again, this is where they're similar to Taurus. They want it to last. They want high quality. I'm not going to buy the shirt if I feel like in 2 weeks after I wash it a couple times, the freaking arm part's going to fall apart. They don't want that. They want high-end Neiman Marcus, Macy's, polo shirt that is like stain resistant and wrinkle resistant. Like, they want top of the line stuff so that they always can depend on it. They can always put it on because they'll be wearing that type of stuff a lot, and they can go out and be successful in their life. I remember it's my first job I ever had, And this lady was like, yeah, she was like my boss, I guess. She was like, yeah, I just bought all these clothes and I couldn't believe it. I went to Burlington, blah, blah, blah. And she was going on and on. And then her friend was like, so what'd you buy? And she was like, yeah, I got 2 pencil skirts and blah, blah. And she was like, that's a shame. All I do is buy work clothes. And I was thinking, how sad. But that's just such a, and I don't know, again, what her sign was. I'm just giving you guys like the energy of the story. They love to shop for work clothes. They're like, oh, I can't wait to wear this at work. I can't wait to bring this to the office. I can't wait to go to my interview with this. That is their style. So a little bit too dressy for the day-to-day, but that's just what they like. They like to look like the boss. They like to look like the CEO. They like to look like they're on their way to go, host a meeting or something like that. They also like very classical things. Thing that, once again, Capricorn related to Saturn is about time. Things that stand the test of time. A button-down shirt. Like, when you look at like time-stamped photos of like big bell bottoms in the 90s, or I said bell bottoms in the 90s, bell bottoms in the 70s, or really, really baggy clothes in the 90s, and you could just look at it, you're like, oh, this was the 90s, or, barbed wire around the arm, and you're like, you were about 20 years old in the 80s when you got this, weren't you? Like, they don't want to be time-stamped. They want to look classic and timeless. Things like pearls, things that just don't really have a timestamp on them. They just kind of look good no matter what. That's why button downs, they don't like patterns, things that are very plain. All those type of things that are just very solid colors, not garish colors. They're usually khaki, usually white, navy blue, black, stuff like that. That's going to look good. When they take a picture and you look at it 50 years from now, you'll be like, yeah, I can kind of see someone wearing that today, or I can kind of see what you were going for. It doesn't look so time-stamped. These people are very tight-fisted. They don't like to spend money on frivolous things. So if you're like, hey, if you always want to go out to the bar, if you always want to go see, what's new in town or a new performance, if you always want to spend money on how you look, like a Libra, or you always want to go to a party, like a Sagittarius, they don't want to do that. They are so tight-fisted with their money. These are the penny pinchers. Remember, Saturn, so they're not trying to spend at all. And if they do, it's going to be like one shirt that they can wear every week anywhere that's going to last for about 10 years. Now, that will be of quality, but those type of things will happen sparingly. They're very, very tight-fisted, and they're always saving for a rainy day. These people are always thinking about the future. They're always saving as much as they possibly can. Even if they got 5 different businesses and they're going great, they're always like, well, what if this fails? What is my next plan? They're always thinking about the next thing. They're saving. Usually they're saving for an investment that they want to make. So they're saving like, well, I want to buy a house. Or they're saving because they want to buy a new car. Or they're saving because they want to invest in new stocks. Like, they're always saving for something. They're always thinking about the future. They're always thinking about, when I put this brick down, I gotta align it perfectly so that the next brick, they're always thinking about that next brick thing. And money is the same thing. If I put this dollar down, or this $100, I'm gonna keep that there. I'm not gonna touch it no matter what. They are the most amazing savers. They will not touch it. Like, no matter what's going on, they could be like damn near about to be homeless, and they'll be like, no, I'm not touching my savings. Because that $100, if I leave that there and I put another 100, then that's 200, and that gives me twice as much buying power, twice as much investment power, twice as much of a safety net. They're so big into saving. And if you're going to be dating them, or even if you're going to be their friend, you can't be getting into their money. You can't be making them spend all their money, or miss work, or miss time from work, or work opportunities. You have to be an amazing saver, and you have to save as well. And you have to, like, it's the back and forth. You have to encourage them to work hard, save, and, achieve their goals. And they're going to do the same for you. And then you guys are just going to go up together. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's pretty much about Venus and Capricorn. Comment down below. Let me know if you think I missed anything, if you want to add anything, if you think I got anything right. Please subscribe, please like, and I will be back soon with more videos.